We have been tested for 40 years. Those of you who are as old as I am can remember 40 years ago. Remember 1967, the summer of love? Good old Haight-Ashbury. You remember years before that, the 50s. Can you remember, those of you as old as I, your first television set? And hula hoops? And poodle skirts? There's nothing as gorgeous as a girl in a poodle skirt. I don't know why. All those things. The innocence and optimism of those 20 years after the Second World War. It was good. Gas was cheap. The cars were fast. And those of us who were Catholic and Americans, well, we really felt that we were doubly blessed. And then there was the Vatican Council. And we had this feeling, those of you who are young, I don't think this makes sense to you, but we, the old people, we had this feeling that now everything was going to be wonderful. That we would recover the dynamism of the early church somehow. We would scrape away all the senseless rules and regulations, the outmoded customs and superstitions that had held us back. Then God decided to show us who we were. And John Paul II, or rather Paul VI, published Humanae Vitae, in which he re-emphasized the Catholic Church's prohibition on artificial means of birth control. And Paul VI was mocked and laughed at. The jokes were wonderful. You know, they talked about natural family planning as Vatican roulette. You know, the jokes were wonderful. And Paul VI was outmoded. He convened a panel of experts. They advised him to embrace the modern world. And what did he do? He said, no, the Catholic Church isn't going to change on this. And the response of the clergy in America was a full-throated no. We will not obey. And the clergy in America, of whom I am a member, were revealed for who they are: rebellious and corrupt. You see, the purpose of testing the 40 years is to reveal to me who I am. And it was the clergy first who were tested. And by and large, we failed miserably. And we showed who we were. We would not obey. We were rebels. And many of us were worse than rebels. We were corrupt, interested only in our own pleasures and in our own status. Well, I'm embarrassed to say it, but my teachers, when they, in the seminary, heard the news of Humanae Vitae, that Paul VI was not going to let the church enter the modern world, they dedicated themselves to teaching us how to help people think their way around obeying that encyclical. Because you see, Catholics believe, and it's the doctrine of the church, always has been, that though something may be gravely sinful in itself, unless you are completely free and you are completely aware of the gravity of the sin, well, you are not culpable of mortal sin. So who's ever free? Some woman with 10 children, is she free? And so on. And you know, I don't want to go into this because this sermon is going to be unpleasant enough. But if you can think your way around one sin, you can think your way around any sin. And we priests became adept at thinking our way around sin. Well, there were two great objections to the Pope's policy. First of all, the spiraling world population. I mean, the world can't support that many people, so the argument went. The planet is increasingly polluted. The environment is increasingly degraded. That was an argument. But I would point out to you that there are two nations who have successfully controlled their populations: the United States and the People's Republic of China. And they are, I suspect, the two greatest polluters in the world. You see, it isn't children that cause pollution, it's machines that cause pollution. And it seems the fewer children we have, the more money we have to buy the machines. I look at someone driving a Hummer alone, or an SUV, and they have just themselves and their Chihuahua in it. Children don't cause pollution. Machines do. Traditional societies, agrarian societies, lived in much greater harmony with the earth than we do. But the real argument, Father, you have no idea what it is like to raise a child. How dare some bishop in some foreign city tell me how many children I should have? And therein lies the real rub, does it not? Well, because of circumstances in my life and in my family, I know more than some clergy about what it's like to raise children. And to raise children. Now, the little dears, you love them. There are a number of children in the congregation here. We love you. You're wonderful. So don't listen to the rest of this. Raising children is unmitigated hell most of the time, isn't it? Oh, children make you crazy, especially in the modern age. I'm going out to play, Mom. Do you have your helmet? Do you have your shin guards? Do you have your sunscreen on? Do you have your mosquito spray on? I think I'll just stay home and watch television, Ma. When I was a kid, all the mothers in town used to send us out to play in the woods. Go, enjoy. Now you don't do that. Raising children is expensive. It is time-consuming. It's what you do. When you have children, well, that's life, literally. It is the rest of your life. But the hardest thing about children is that to raise children is a non-stop broken heart, isn't it? It is. It's a non-stop broken heart. You love them, the joy of your life. And then they go to that first day of school and they come home crying and they say, the other kids beat me up.